Yeah, yeah, Chiru.
Yes.
Actually, I've created the same demo, Facebook login demo.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken the elements the same way as you advised that the parent URL should be unticked from the elements.
Yes, yes.
So, but sometimes the login works and sometimes the screen hangs up at the same time. So
So,
yeah,
what is the issue means? You have you taken the dynamic weights properly?
yeah, I've configured that properly. But when can we connect after the class or in between so that I can showcase you the exact issue that
Yes,
I'm.
yes, 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 yes. Can connect. Okay, fine. So we have done with the any other questions? So we are doing the order system automation. So we have created the object for the same. So this is our application modular. These are the elements we have. These are the spying attributes. Okay, there is a login window, is there option window, is there new order window, confirmation window. These are the windows. In this window, these are the elements we have spied. Okay, so these I am taking for the just proper element configuration purpose. I have taken this one, so I'm not using in the code. Okay, so when I see the application module, then I can come to know that it's a login page. So there he has spied the three elements. It's an option window page. There he has spied the two elements. So it will be proper configuration purpose and better understanding purpose. So I have taken this like this. So in the real time we also has to take in the same manner. Okay, so now we have done with the all the actions. First we are launching the application, then sign in, giving the option, and giving the other details. So if you click on the submit button, there is a pop-up will come. So there we are reading the particular reference number and we are parsing it. Okay, everything I have created, right? So in the real time, one more thing called global variable. What is meant by global variable? So now see, if you create any variable here, that variable we can able to see in the same page. This is a page reference number, right? Reference number, type text, and we can able to see this particular variable in this particular page, right? This is the reference number page, number data item. So see here, hide from other pages in the process. So we are checking this one, so that's why we are not able to see this variable in the outside of other pages, right? So we have a concept here called global variables. Global variable nothing but only one page we will create it, and that variable we will use it in all other pages if required. If you want to use this one variable in more than 3 or 4 pages, then we have to go for the global variable. We'll make that element as in global and we'll use it in our other pages. If single similar variable, if you are using in the three or more pages, then you can make that particular data item as a global variable so that all other pages can access it. So how to create the global element? So here in the real time, what we'll do, we now have taken the weight, right? So weight I have taken hard code. This is the hard code value 10. So suppose in the future my clients want, so because of the server issue, so it's running very slowly. So now he every time he has to go to every particular weight stage and he has to edit the weight. So this is 10, right? So if my application is running very slow, means I have to increase to 15, right? So like this, every page I want to come and I need to edit this value. So this kind of things we can able to overcome by taking the global weight. So see, I will take the variables. So see, I'm unchecking this one. If I uncheck this one, see, hide from other pages in the process. I'm checking this one, so that's why this variable I can able to see in all other pages. These are the global variables. So I will apply the font settings. So my client font settings. It's a global variable, and to my clients I need to keep in red colors. So every variable should be included in the block. So this description also we have to mention just for the better practice. So this action will launch the application. That's it. So see here, now you can able to see those variables here, right? So Z10 is there. So L means 10 millimeter, S means 10 millimeter, 70, not S. L. So here I can change. Done. So give the name is description implied. This action will why I'm saying global variable means this one I'm giving, okay, this one I'm not getting from anywhere and I'm not sending to anything, right? So this time I'm taking a hardcode value because in the second window I need to select the options, right? So there I have to always give the one, so it's constant ones, that's why I've taken as a local variable. Okay, so if I'm reading something I will getting value from the outside means then I will create an output page. Okay, this is also conventions depending upon my client, so you can take depending upon your requirement. Other details. No. Done. So now see here a launch page, sign page. So we are taking the EM, right? So whenever I change the value here directly, that value is going to append to all other pages. No need to change in each and every page. This is the advantage of taking the global variables. Okay, any questions here? Right? Yes. Now see here. So here we are giving the hard coded value, right? iOS solution was not able to find the password element in 10 seconds. So why? Because here we are giving the 10 seconds, so that 10 seconds I have given. So suppose if I change the value here to 12, so here if my process will come to here, so this will also show the same message, right? So this value 10 seconds is not varying, because I have given the hard code value here. Suppose, so what I will do, in between the 10 seconds I will pass the same data item. So whenever I will get the exception, what is the value in there, so directly that value will append to here. So what I will do here, double quotations, will take the data item directly. That's it. Valid, valid. So if my value is 12, so my exception reason is like this. If my value is equal to 15, so the exception reason is like this. So it will give us some space here. So like this. Done. So like this we have to implement for all other page sub pages. So here also I have given the hard code value like 10. So here also I need to pass the, remove that, put double quotations. So whenever we are adding the data item, it should be into in between the and symbol. Click and validate. Yes. So the expression. So suppose the value is 22, so this is the exception, right? So like this, you have to implement for all other pages. Yes. The final one. Then there is an exception, right? Because we haven't applied the unseen. Yes. Yeah. Right. So we have completed with the Object Studio. There are no errors. So I am saying it. So see, there are no errors here. So we have created the launch of the sign in, then giving the options, new order, everything we have done from now. So these new orders, I have to pass it from the process and the reference number, and it to send it to the process. So everything I am going to find. So now I am start creating the process. The real time for every process name, every object name, they will give you. There is a separate format is there, like their business unit name underscore something like that. So they will do mention everything in the PAD process definition doc, right? So we in my process is starting taking the data from the Excel, right? So first I need to get the data from the Excel. So whenever we say the word Excel, so we have to get the environment variable first. So first I will start getting the environment variable. So this is my path. So orders new the name. So should right click copy as path. So now I'm creating the environment variable. Environment variable, add variable. Give the name. Text. So with that double quotation. Yes. order system file path 06 is my environment variable name. So apply, open the process, do refresh. Take the data item and check whether that can be accessible or not. There, right? So it is actually. So now see, I can't do everything in the main page, right? So I have to take the here I need to do 3 to 4 things. So first I need to see the few things before that. So everything I can't include in the main page, right? So I need to check the credentials are right or wrong. Then Excel path is existing or not. Then how to get the Excel data. Then how to interact with the objects. So everything, if I do in a single page, it will be clumsy, and you may not know in the future if you want to add some extra functionalities for the same page. That will be very tough for you. So whatever I will do, I will create in all the sub pages, every small task. So whenever I want to add the new functionalities, I can able to add it, and troubleshooting also very easy. Right. So first I'll add one first page called initialize. But my what my initialize page will do means, so it will check the credentials are. So now I need to interact with the object, right? So order system I need to interact it, right? So there is the credentials I need to pass it from my process, right? So first I will check credentials are valid or not, then file is existing or not, Excel file. So if both will get true, then only I will go for the remaining steps. Suppose if Excel is not there, then the credentials are wrong for the other system software, then there is no pointing of going for the next step, right? So that is why, so before in the initial page itself I will do check it. So if anything get missed, so here only I will raise an exception to the particular control room peoples. Okay, that mail ID they will do mention in the PDD. So mail operations are there. Tomorrow we are going to see the mail operations. So now I will check. First I will check whether I have created the credentials or not. For login to any application, username and password should be created in the credentials, because credentials will be vary from the different environment, and those people, the testing people, doesn't know where we are writing the code, and they don't even have the access for the studio, right? So we will create the credentials separately, so they will come and read over there. So automatically those value will get reflected into our code. So comes to credentials. I'm already having, so I will just edit it. See access rights. Process, resources, roles. Everything I have checked. Yes, these are proper credentials. So this is the credentials name. So I will do copy it. Click on OK. So these are the credentials for my application. Right. So first, what I will do, same thing. First, I will get the credentials here. Right. I'm getting the credentials. After that, I will evaluate whether the credentials are valid or not. Okay. So first thing, if my first thing, the status has to be valid. Okay. So first thing, when I'll get the credentials, the status value has to be valid. My first thing. My second thing is that the username and password should have the value. Okay, those two things I will check it and I will confirm those are the valid credentials. So what I'm doing here, status has to be valid is my first condition. If status equal valid, then is my second condition is that I will check the both having the values or not. If both will get true, then I will assume that both are the valid credentials. And so after that, so one more thing we need to check whether the file is there in the existing path or not. So they have given the file path. So I will check whether the file is in there in the particular path or not. So those two things I will check it before doing further the next process. So depending upon your project, so suppose if you are interacting with the two objects, so suppose if you are interacting with the two applications in a single project, so two applications will have the two credentials. So you have to do the four conditions here. And suppose if you are using the two Excel sheet, for the two Excel sheet you have the two separate paths. Okay, two separate paths also you have to check it in the real time. In length of username equal to 0 or length of password equal to 0. So if anyone will get true, if this is a true or this is a true, if anyone will get true, so if there is no username means there is no pointing of going to the next step. Right? So if both will get if these two conditions will get true, then those are the invalid credentials, right? So if length of the username equal to 0 or length of the password equal to 0, nothing but anyone is empty, right? So if anyone is empty means there is no pointing of going to the next steps. Moments and write the exception. So these are the conditions I have for the credentials. So if any exception will come, so it's a business exception. So by default, when you're first time when you're raising the exception, you won't find all these values here. So you have to write it manually. Okay. Same exception. Right. So if after these two conditions satisfied, then I will check my file path. So I have taken a Excel sheet, right? So Excel file path you should check every time. So for checking the file path, so you have to take the utility, file management, file exist. Here you have to pass the file. Next I will take the distance stage and I will check this flag. If this flag is true means there is a file. If not, then there will be no file. So I will raise an exception for the same. If true means this part. If not, then I will raise an exception. Same business exception. Why? Because business people has to do these things properly. So they have to keep it. They have given one path, Excel file, Excel path. So in that path, they have to keep that particular Excel properly before running the bot, right? So if not, then there is issue. So that's why I'm raising the business exception. Done. Applying the font changes. These are the output variables from this page, correct? So that's it. If everything is fine, so this one you can say. Done. So after initialize page has done, then we have to go for the next step. So what is the next step? The first page is the initialize page, right? So next page is the import Excel data. This is my initialize page. My next page is the import Excel data. So for importing the Excel, what are the actions you have to perform? First action is the create instance. Open workbook. Is the file path. So already we have taken this file path here. So this one I can able to copy paste. It's the environment variable. Next, get worksheet as collection. So open workbook should have work name. So workbook name we have to pass it in the worksheet name. So what is the sheet name of the Excel? So we have to open it and check it. So orders O should be the capital. That's the same name we have to give. Done. So here I'm not closing the instance. Why I'm not closing the instance? Why? Because after end of the process, I need to update the same Excel file, right? So with the same instance and same workbook and all. That is why I'm not closing the instance. Suppose if your requirement is that you have to update, you have to get this different Excel file, then you can close this particular instance. Okay. So my requirement is that I need to update in the same Excel file. That's why I'm not closing this particular instance. Okay. So here I will get the data. So after getting the data, this data I need to pass to my main page, because after that I need to interact with the object studio, right? Done. This is my second page. So and this, but after getting the data, this data I need to pass to my main page. So that's why I need to create output parameters. Done. So up to now it will check the credentials. and it will check the Excel path is existing or not. After that, it will take the data from the Excel and it will keep it in the main page. So up to now, this is the these are the actions we have performed. So I will just run and I will check how it works. First, it's taking the credentials. Yes, everything is true. Now it's taking the data from the Excel. Done. So main page, we got the orders, right? Yes. So after that, what are the actions you want to perform? I need to launch my application, right? So for this action, we have already created the business object. So I need to call the business object now. Batch 10. Just I need to launch the application. So after launching, so if you run this stage, you can see that the application is going to be launched, right? So after launching, we had to provide the credentials, username and password, right? So where we have the username and password, those will be there in the this page, initialize page, right? So these values I required. Because in the main, I need to pass it to my login page. Go for the sign in. So these credentials you have to pass it from my process, right? So but here there are no inputs, there are no outputs. Why? Because we haven't created any input parameters in the Object Studio. So we have to create it now. So these username and password we have to get it from the process, right? We have to create the input parameters. One is the password, one is the text. Done. Close this one, refresh and check. Yes, we have those two values came. So these values I need to get it from my initialize page. So I have to create the output parameters, password and the text. Initialize page is going to give us username and the password. They are the application credentials which we need to pass it, right? So when you click on the sign in page, you can see here password and username you have to pass it. Then so up to now we have implemented the logic to sign in. Just execute up to now here. So refresh everything, no errors, and I'm running the process. First initialize page, so it will get the credentials. Right. So up to now we have signed into the application, right? So now what else we have to do? So we have to click on the option, we have to give the option number, then orders and everything we have to perform. So here we have to put the loop for that. So from where we have to start the loop. So see, I will do it manually first. So manually just observe. From where we have to start the loop, that is I'm going to explain. Right, so first I will come to, after logging, this is my next stage, options window. After that, so this is my order window, new order window, where I'm entering the orders. After that, I am submitting my order. Observe here, submit the order. Then see here the reference number came. Right, so now my screen having the 3 windows. After, so I will read this value. After that, I will click on the continue button. See what will happen. See, only options window is there. Again, I need to start with the options window. Again, I need to enter the orders. So here you can observe options window is our primary level, right? So every time from the options window, my next order is starting. Nothing but from the options window, I need to loop it. Okay, the same thing you have to perform here. I have to take the loop because I have set of orders. For the loop, collection is input. Options. Okay. After the options, I need to enter the orders. New order. For the new order, I need to pass the all this data from the collection, right? So take the collection. Collection. What is the field name? Yeah, product code. So next order is that number required. Means number required nothing but the quantity. Okay, this field mapping we have a sheet. Okay, for application which field from the Excel which field we have to pass it. So for that is called a mapping sheet. That is also provided by the particular client. Unit price. Loss cost center. Right, so this is the new order where we have to enter all these details. Okay, from the collection I'm entering all the details, right? Click on OK. So after order, get the reference number. So that is a field. So after getting the reference number, that's when I need to paste it into the this particular field, right? So reference number field. So that is why I need to take the particular field, collection dot field name, collection dot field name, same thing. Just copy paste. Don't. If you are writing properly, you should write. So if there is one name will get mismatched, then it won't execute. You throw an exception, right? And so after we have done everything, we need to terminate the application. terminate. Right? Yes, up to here the 70% task has completed. First, I am validating the credentials. Then I'm getting the data. Then I'm launching the application. I'm logging to the application. Then I'm looping with my order reference number, giving the options, giving the orders, and again I'm getting the reference number. Again, next order. Like this, everything after completing all the others, I'm terminating the application. Everything is proper. Refresh. Then closing Excel. Any questions are there before running? Any questions? Right? Start. See, every order is taken. Done. See, application also terminated. So now go and check the collection lines. See, here we got the everything, but the text has come, right? So there is a text is there. Every particular data, there is a text is adding before that. Before that, there is a text is there. So what you have to do? So my client wants just the number, not the text. So what I will do? I need to use the text operations to eliminate this one. Sorry. String operations. So this page will take the data from here. So this page also will run every time in the loop. Okay. So it will request one input. Input data. So I will take the first dummy values and I will implement the logic after that. I will run the process. So this is my input. So I need to remove this one, right? So what is my reference? This symbol is my reference. After the symbol, what is the value is there? That one I need to get it. After the circle, this symbol, what is the value there in the right side? So that is my answer, right? So that is how I will implement the logic. See. So I will take the multi-characterization stage. Single stage we can complete everything. The first action is that I will just trim the input. but because there may be extra spaces may come, just I will do trim it. It will trim the left and right side. After trimming the values, I will store in the same data. Right? After that, I will find the length. After finding the total length, so what I will do, I will find the position of that particular symbol in string of after required position. So required length I will get it by doing the subtraction between the total length minus required position. There, so the after that I will take the left. Left of required length. That's it. I will paste into the same data. Okay. So after I will run, after that I will do experiment again. So it is taking the left side, so I need to have the right. So see, this is my input data, this is my output data. See, so what I'm doing here first, these are the common for every string operation. First, I will trim the input data in total length, and I will find the position, that symbol position I will find out. So required length I will find by subtracting the total length minus required position. I will get the required length. Okay, so this is the input data, right symbol. So I have taken the right functionality. So right of input data, so which how much digits are required. So this one already find out by subtracting the total length minus required position, right? So first what I'm doing, so this is my input text. So I'm trimming the particular text and I will find the total length, complete length, and after that I will find this position. Okay, total length minus this position, if we subtract, so remaining is my input data, right? So that is what my logic is. Any questions here? Any questions? Okay. Any questions, guys? So after completing all my text operations, I need to pass this particular data to my main page, right? So same text get value from you can create the another data item. So I am pasting here in the same data item. Okay, final result I am pasting the same data item. If you want, you can create another data item if you get confused. So text type, get value from. Done. So every time after taking the data, I need to call that particular subject. So I need to pass the input. Collection dot fill. Right, so refresh, reset, and go. Launching the application, log into the application. So it's a second order. You can run in the fast mode also. Ten orders, it will look it. Done. So now check the collection. Got it. You have that question. Questions, please. Pankaj,
Yeah, yeah, Chilu. Mm,
any questions?
No, I think I'm clear about the steps, these steps.
Okay.
Hi, Rohit here. I am wondering why we have got text at first instance for the reference number.
Why means we have spied the when we have spied. Wait, I will do open. We have spied the complete in the application module. So that's why we are getting.
So we have taken complete input from that screen.
Correct. So there is that particular only the number screen is not there. Only the number one we don't have it. So that is why it's showing like this. Okay. What I will
But text was difference, I guess.
do. See. The reference number will get changed. Why? Because this is a dummy application. Okay, the value number will change, but
Yes,
the
number will change, but there was a text, right? Just input the values. Let's
yes,
see.
yes. So you give the values manually, then we'll check it. We haven't closed the instance, so Excel will can't take the. We have to close the instance. See here, I will.
Okay, please take note. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so we are taking entire element. So if you go to application modular, we can see.
So we are trimming this over there, not here.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So we are taking complete elements. See, highlighting properly.
Got it. I can delete now.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No.
So now we are getting the data to the collection. So we have to write it to the same Excel sheet. Okay. So if you want to write the data for the same instance, we should need some inputs, right? So now I will call the Excel VBO once. In this Excel VBO. Write collection. For the write collection, these are the inputs. Right. So we should have handle, workbook name, worksheet name. Collection we have some reference, we know. So these are the options I know. But handle and workbook name I am having in this particular page, right? Handle and the workbook name. So if I want these values to my main page, so I need to pass it. This is called the output parameters. One is the handle. And the next one is the come to the main page. Input Excel. So these are also we will get it. Right. So now we can easily write. What is the sheet name? Partners. Go capital. The collection. Cell reference means from A1 cell itself my data has started, so I want to write from the same cell. Include column names, flag, yes. After writing the collection, what you have to do? You have to save. So for that we have to pass the handle and the workbook name. After saving, you have to close the instance.
Chilu, sorry to interrupt you.
Yep.
So one query here. So I see one drop down at the bottom, state logging equals to enabled.
Yes.
Could you please put some light over these parameters, how to configure them and how it controls the audit trail of that particular activity?
Yeah. So what is happening? Whenever we are running in the real time, whenever running from the control room, okay. So audit. So if we execute any process, here you can able to see there is a view log file. Okay. If you click on the view log file, every details will be there. Okay.
Right.
So whatever we are passing, whatever is taking, what is an output, what is input, and everything. Okay.
Yes.
So if we are using the credentials, that's here I am using credentials. See, here I'm getting the credentials, right? So this is going to this value having a username and password and everything. So if I will enable this stage logging for this particular stage, So those people can able to know my username and the password. So client he have a sensitive data. So he will tell us so what the sensitive data which we need to show in the audit tracker means that file is there no. So that file, but the data they have to show it. Okay, those data only we have to mention it, right? So depending upon those their input, so we have to enable it. So normally it's by default enable only. So if we click on errors only, most of the stages will put errors only. Means if there is an error, we can come to know why the error has happened over there. If not, nothing will come, right? So if everything is proper, then we have to know all these details of the stage, right? So audit. So this particular input I required whenever I will check share view log file. So I will require whenever I will get an exceptions, right? Whenever the peoples are running, that supporting peoples or those testers, when they run the bot, if they get any exception only, they will send this view log file, right? So whenever they are sharing it, so we should know the error details that will be fine, right? Because in the error details, we can come to know which stage error has happened and why it has happened.
Okay.
So yeah.
One more query here. So like here we are calling the multiple pages from the main page.
Yes.
So in case I have enabled, just assume that I have enabled the logging for this page activity, like string operations. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So will I be able to view the audit trail for string operations?
Yes. We are giving every stage by stage, right? So when if you disable for the stage, nothing will happen. So if you click on errors, only errors will display. If you click on enable, everything will get displayed.
So if I enable the login for this particular page,
Yes.
then let's go to main page, please. Just assume that I have enabled a login here, import data Excel. Just double click on this. Yes. So will I be able to see the audit trail corresponding to this particular stage, or the complete process?
No. This particular stage. This is the stage. This is the page reference is the stage. So this particular stage only you will get it, not complete information related to the particular stage. Only the stage. Only this stage. This particular tracker will be for stage to stage, not from complete page.
Okay. And what is the process of dehydration in the process into a database? Like at every step, the details must be offloaded onto the database so that in case of any failure in the system, the same details can be recovered from the product database. So could you please put some light on those things? Like just assume that the process starts from the start activity.
Yeah.
At launch activity, the system, the control room goes down or the server goes down. What will happen to that process? Will it be auto recovered once the instance is back, or
Yes. So what if that kind of case actually in the real time, if this is the project, then we will use the work queue concept, not the looping concept here. So this is the conventional way. So we can able to perform if suppose if your case. So what I mean, if anything happens, so it has to go to the same data and it has to loop it. So if that is your requirement, and you should not use this logic. So you have to go with the work queue concept. Okay, that's a very important one. So that is our next concept. There you can come to me. Okay. Work queue is nothing but everywhere you can track the details. Okay, this is my details. So whenever then any exception is happened, so I can do retry it. How many times you want to retry it, you can able to mention it. And there are lots of options are there with the work queues. Okay, in the every interview you can get the questions from the work queue. Actually, before starting on object only, I need to start it, but you people are not. I mean, most of the people are not. There are some people who are not even install the software and all. You guys not practice that much. That's why I stopped with the work queue concept. Yes, so now you are on track somewhat. So tomorrow I will start with the work queue. That will take for me some 4 to 5 hours class. So to explain about the work queue concept. So how to get the work queue data from the queue, and how to there is a suppose if client having the requirement that I need to get the data from last 1 month, how many they have processed successfully, how many flows exception has happened, why the exception has happened. Every details we can able to track it, right? Using the work queues. It's a very simple concept. So we'll have the lots of actions are there, lots of operations, features, and everything you can able to perform with the work queues.
Okay. So apart from that, I also need to know like how do we plan for the uh, infrastructure for production systems, like how much memory is needed, how much RAM is needed for the runtime and all those stuff. So could you please
Yeah. Actually, that is depending upon the client. Suppose the VMs and licensing, everything will be in client hands, right? So they should know it. Suppose now this the order system is an application, right? So in the order system, we are only working with the one way, right? New order only we are working with, right?
mm,
So the other options also there, right? So other people are working in other functionalities on the same application, right? So if
mm,
most of the people are working on the same application, there is sometimes there is a term called a downtime. So they won't run our bot in the downtimes. So what is the downtime for that application? And how many records are there, how many input values are there? So there's a document called FRQ, Functional Requirement Questionnaire, where they will mention everything, scheduling times, when the bot has start, when the bot has to stop, and how many per year, how many records it has to process, maximum how many records will get it per day. So everything they will do mention in that particular document called FRQ, Functional Requirement Questionnaire, and they will do mention is like suppose 10:30 my bot will start, so my process will check for that file is existing or not, right? So for the Excel sheet, so if the Excel sheet is not found, they will tell us you have to wait for 30 minutes. So every you have to wait for 30 minutes. After that you have to try searching for the Excel, and then you have to go for the next steps. Okay, everything depending upon their requirement. Okay, they will say, only one time you'll check. If the Excel file is not found, then you will raise an exception. If that is the
oh,
case, then that is our process.
okay,
Okay.
but from the Blue Prism runtime perspective, like how do we decide that it can handle that much number of load or that much number of boards running at the parallelly at the same time? So that's my question here.
Yeah. So that is in the VM, in the virtual machine. So I mean, they will do configure everything. Like, so memory perspective wise, if your input values are more than 5,000. Okay, now I am working with on one process called ACH CRAM. So which will pay the amount. I mean, it's complete a bank related project. So in that project, what I'm doing, so I need to get the 30,000 in records for every day. 30,000, 30,
Mm,
right? So if I get the data 50,000, 5,000 at a time, so sometime even with 5,000 record also, sometimes I'm getting the exception. Okay. So for that, what I'm doing, I'm taking some 3,000 records at a time. I'm adding to the queue. In queue can hold lakhs of records. Okay, but if you want to add the data to the queue, you have to get the data to the collection first. Okay,
mm,
so if 5,000 records, we can't take the collections at a time by using the MS Excel video, but because we'll get the exception called the memory out of exception. Okay, so
mm.
we have to work with the less items. Some 3,000 records, I will take it. I will add to the queue. From the queue, I can take any number of records. That will be fine with the Blueprint perspective. Okay, and
Okay.
in the VM, there is a separate VM for the bot. Okay, one separate VM they will do configure for the bot.
Mm.
Okay, yes, separate be available resources there, separate VM.
Obviously, that would be different only. Mm.
Yeah. So in that VM, automatically there is another VBO is there called a login agent. By using first we'll run the login agent on the VM. Means if the VM has lock, it will do unlock automatically. Then it will run the bot. So no need to monitor everything. Everything will get automatically can be done. If there is any exceptions are there, we can see it in the audit tracker. We'll have fine.
Okay, so I believe Blue Prism only supports Windows Server only, not Linux, right?
No Linux, no Linux.
Mhm.
Only Windows 7 and 10.
So, and the underlying technology on which Blue Prism is built upon is .NET or something else?
Yes, it's completely .NET. That is why it is stable to compare to all other automation tools, and it's very costlier than this license is very costlier than other tools. AI and UiPath having less, and Blue Prism having more price compared to that.
Okay, 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 fine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes, I'm terminating the application. Then I'm writing the data to the same Excel file. So write collection. So I have given all the data, and I'm saving the Excel and closing the instance. The closing the instance, these are the inputs I need to pass. Done. So his exception handling should be done. Recovery and the resume. Between the recovery and the resume, I should have exception details I need to create. And the developer will won't do the scheduling and all, so he will just do the developer run. So he will just done the developing for the process and he will release. So the separate people's got the board controllers will be there for every company from the client perspective, so they will do schedule it. The scheduling part they will do handle it. How many times they have to schedule, how many results they have to schedule, everything they should they will have the details and they will do it. All right, now we will run the plot from the start. So this is my input file, so there are no reference numbers here. Right, so now after running the process, that value has to be updated over there. Refresh, reset, and closing the file. This is the normal speed, so I will run from max. It's the maximum speed. So you can observe the manual people's what are the time they will take. Now the bot to see how it is taking time. If the data is proper, everything will get fine. Done. So check the Excel file. Yes. Yes. Any questions? Right. So in the real time, after that, we have to send the mail and those options will be performed. Yeah. So this is about the order system. So after this session, I will do share all this code to you guys. You just import it and actually first try with yourself and how much you can able to do it. And all after that, if you have any question, you can refer this code. Okay. So I will go to the other application. How to read the drop downs, how to set the drop downs, radio buttons and all I will go explain. So tomorrow freshly we can start with the working concept. Small exercises I will tell you now.
Chilu, Pankaj this side.
Yep.
So could you please let me know when can we connect to look into that Facebook login issue?
Yeah, otherwise, do share right away. Yeah, you can see it.
Shall I share my screen over here?
Yeah. I'm giving the access now. Yes, you can share now. You can see.
I hope you are able to view my screen now.
Yes.
Actually, this is the object that I've created
Mhm.
to launch this Facebook page.
Mhm.
And what I've done, I've configured this dynamic here. So check for the user ID field whether it exists or
Correct.
not.
Yeah,
And
give me
apart
the
from that,
access. Yeah, give
I
me
have
the
configured
access.
20 seconds. Okay. So let me start this process once.
Yeah, you can start.
Sometimes it works perfectly fine. At the other time, it doesn't work at all. This time it didn't work.
That pop-up has come. No, you have to handle that pop-up as well then.
Okay. Let me.
Because you haven't handled that pop-up, right? So how the process will come to know? No, don't close that. Don't close that. Wait. Give me the access.
Sure, boss. You can just request the controls.
Yeah. Right. So I'll check the element once.
I want check the parent element. Apart from that, I want check the fields having the value as null, empty values.
Yes. She's fine.
Now that this project already hangs up and it will not work unless I restart this Object Studio.
So we'll start the process. So that if that pop-up is not coming, then it will run proper like so. So what is the logic you embedded is properly.
Even if that pop-up doesn't come, so in some cases it works and at another time it doesn't work.
I will check it from the process.
Now probably we have to close the Object Studio and reopen it. Then only this process will start. Otherwise, it just hangs up over there.
Okay.
See the cursor gets hang itself. Now it will not work. Only in 20% cases it works.
Okay.
It keeps on waiting on wait activity itself. But this is an issue with dynamic wait only. Otherwise, it is working fine.
No, we have to use the dynamic version. No, there is no spying issue. I think. I will just check it out.
Just launch it from the application model itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Then probably we'll be able to.
These are the common things here for WPM. Very common things. So there's some attributes I will do and check which I feel they're not relevant to the same. Check the match index for the better identification. Import test path, right, application. Yes. Apply.
Now probably we need to close this Object Studio and
No, we should not do that. Let's see what else. I will restate the element again. So I'm unchecking the first time. Then TRL is tag name, type ID, yes. Actually, so I will check it. I will define it. Okay. That element is there, right? It's not finding is the question.
yeah, even I encountered the same issue. Some in 20% cases it works, and rest of the cases I always face that issue. Now just close that Object Explorer, then start again. Then probably it will come because I know that what I've experienced in the past.
Okay.
I never saw such kind of behavior on your machine because you never restarted this Object Studio in front of us. But
Yes. So, which version of this software?
sorry,
What is the version of this software? What is the version?
the same because I downloaded it from the same folder that you shared with us.
Okay.
Because even I'm not looked into the version.
Mhm.
Just close this Black Studio and reopen it. It should work.
But that is not a case here. This is
Yeah, ideally it should not be the case.
there's a configuration conflict happen or something. It has to work.
No, no. When the wait activity hangs up, then only this issue comes. Otherwise, it works perfectly fine.
Otherwise, we'll do one thing. One attribute we'll do spy it in EA mode. But because in your case, having it separate. I'll do one thing. I'll create one more variable. Identify for the same variable only. EA. So parent element should run check. If this is working, then you have to go with the EA mode only. That will be better. Match index and the order. Both will check it for the quick identification. Apply. Okay. Now what I will do wait state with this. Why I can't delete this wait?
Sorry.
I will delete this. Take a wait. And take this. 10 seconds.
Whenever the last instance got stuck at wait activity, then we have to restart this Object Studio. No other option.
There is some issue with the installation here. It should not be that. Normally, something happening. The process today, have you faced anything like that is stuck in it, like this happening?
Sorry,
In the process
come
today,
again.
in the past today, have you faced the same issues like hanging up?
Huh?
The
Sorry, just give me a moment, please.
process today when you're working, so you're using any loops and all in a like.
No. Rest of the functionality works perfectly fine. I encountered this issue at this particular wait activity, dynamic wait activity. If I configure normal wait activity, it should work. Even in some cases it does work, but in other cases it doesn't.
Have you tried any other applications?
Apart from this, I've created few applications for calculation loops and all, but I didn't face this issue elsewhere.
It's working here. Right here.
In this case, it works. Hmm. Could you please retry it for twice or thrice so that we'll be able to know?
Yes, yes, yes. So this has to come here, okay? According to this logic, this weight has to work, and here the breakpoint it has to stop. Okay, so we'll see.
No, again the same issue.
Reinstall the Blue Prism, yeah. See, not exactly is going to be happening. Okay, it has to work for every time.
Just give me. I'm taking the controls for a while. Okay, restarting it.
Yeah. 1 second, 1 second. Yeah, you're let me close this.
Shall I start this?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Again, it got stuck at wait activity itself.
There is a problem with the software, or there is a problem with the system. So that is the issue. It won't behave like this. It is not the proper way of, it will work for, try with other application. Have you tried with any Gmail and all?
So the rest of the activities are working fine. The issue comes with this particular activity, wait activity, dynamic wait activity.
No. It has to work here. There is no. You have to use a wait dynamic wait center for every application. Otherwise, I am giving this. Auto system is there. No, what I have implemented. Try to
Hmm.
automate the same. If you are facing the same, let me know.
Yeah, sure. So I hope you are gonna upload this order system Windows application over there.
Yeah, already that is already uploaded.
Okay, okay, cool.
Already, you just go through it. No, just it will work actually. Otherwise, it has to work in AM mode as well. So if HTML is not working, then it has to work with the AM mode. So both are not working, there is an issue.
Right. So I'll take that application and we'll try to complete it by today itself.
Yeah,
In tomorrow class we'll discuss about it.
yeah, sure, yes.
So in case I doesn't encounter that issue, okay, in Windows application, what I'll do, I will just export this project and will give it to you. Just try to run it over your Blue Prism whether you and test whether you face an issue or not.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So that would be
Probably that could be a like way to investigate where exactly the issue is.
correct.
Anyhow, mm, thank you. Mm. So
Yes,
today I'll implement that thing and we'll let you know tomorrow.
yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Chico.
Yeah, bye guys. Bye guys.
Okay, bye bye.